All right, welcome back to another episode of the Blue and White Ignite podcast. I'm glad to be joined by a special guest, Omar. How's it going, bro?
Doing good. I'm doing great.
So
The
it's
playoffs
it's
are
been a
great.
few. Sorry,
Playoffs are great. The Clippers just got hosed.
it's been a few days since the lottery. Um, it didn't go the way we wanted. The Magic got the fifth pick. We dropped out of the top three. What are your thoughts about that?
So me and you discussed it right away after before reports started coming out from the different teams' perspective and what they wanted to do. At first, I was really disappointed, but now with the new reports, I'm fine. Like I have no issue because Detroit is considered trading. Houston's considering for whatever reason. I think at the end of the day they're gonna stick at 1 and 2 respectively and get Cade and Mobley off the board. But Toronto, Cleveland at 3 seems like they want to trade it because if you're Cleveland, I don't see the point in trading Sexton when he's like really good, averaging 24 on great shooting percentages. He's got to work on his decision making, and same thing with Luca. He has the same issue as Luca's decision making. Other than that, he's a passionate defender. So I don't know why you want to trade Sexton away.
Yeah, no, I get that. He's had like a breakout season almost before like his injury and everything. So it is what it is. But what are your thoughts on Jonathan Kuminga? Because a lot of mock drafts have Suggs, Mobley being drafted at the 3 or 4, whichever spots they go.
All right.
Kuminga's the only one left. What are your thoughts on him?
If we had to fall out of the top 3, I'm happy we were at 5 and not 4. I'm higher on Kuminga than Suggs. He's a defender, lengthy, NBA ready body. And today he shot 65% from 3 on the shooting drills. So there's that. I don't know how much weight you can really put on it because you're just like in a gym. Really good players are going to make shots regardless who you are. We see it every year. People that don't shoot threes in the game, they make them over the summer. But I wouldn't be mad with Kuminga if that's who end up. Like, let me not say that because I'm lying. I want Jalen Green, but if Orlando decides to keep 5 and 8 because there's nothing appears because it does take 2 teams to get a trade done, I wouldn't be so disappointed in Kuminga because I do have Kuminga at 4 over Suggs, and then you could always take a shot in the dark at the 2 guard with the PK, whether it be Moody, Book Knight, or whoever else it may be.
So my only thing about drafting Kuminga was that where does he fit on this team? Usually you consider a top 5 prospect.
Okay.
You're thinking eventually they're gonna start. But we already have Chuma, we already have JI. I don't really want Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench because I want him to reach his full potential. I don't think he's going to do that if he has to come off the bench. So where do you think that fit is on this team?
Okay, so like there's no promise whoever we draft was gonna start right away. There's no promise if we do get Green, he's gonna start right away. He's gonna fight RJ Hampton for the starting 2 spot. Gary Harris, if he's still on the roster at the end of the day. Same thing with Jonathan Kuminga. Who's to say he's not like I think whoever the rookie's gonna start off the bench, but who's to say Kuminga doesn't beat out Chuma for the starting spot?
That's true. I like when I watch his highlights, he reminds me of a young Jalen Brown. He has similar body structure. Both weren't really considered great shooters coming into the draft. He has that ability to finish around the rim, and he's athletic. He's a decent defender. Um, yeah, like I think the potential is there. It's just that somebody's gonna get hurt between him, Chuma, and JI. And I don't really want to mess with that. But I was high on Kuminga. I like his 3-point shot isn't great, his free throw percentage isn't great. You mentioned today. He did at the combine shoot 65% at 3, and that's really well. It showed he's putting in the work.
Okay,
I
but
just
with that mindset, how can you just turn around then and then give Jalen Green the starting spot when you have RJ Hampton, you have Cole Anthony already at the guard spot? It's gonna be healthy competition. The best 5 are gonna be on the court. And again, an elite bench we're seeing in the playoffs. The elite bench gets it done.
no, that's true. It and I feel like people haven't brought this up, He's in the G League. We always talk about how Jalen Green, oh, it's harder to do in the G League. We don't consider Kuminga too. He's one of the youngest player, if not, I think the youngest player coming into the draft. But
That's
we
why
nobody ever gives him his credit for what he does in the G League. I'm pretty sure he averaged around 15, 16 points per
like yeah,
game.
yeah, his
Like
numbers were
that's
great,
impressive. That's
but
really
it
good.
was the shooting splits. It was just the shooting splits. But again, the
Mhm.
fact they did in the G League is why I have him over Suggs. And after that, I just think Green, Mobley, and Cunningham are just a tick ahead, like a step ahead of Kuminga in terms of generational talent. So that's the reason I just have him at four now and not in the top three. But there are different draft. Like a lot of players switching out. Scotty Barnes, there's a mock draft in the top three. Kuminga jumps to Cleveland at three, and just letting Toronto make that decision. But yeah, I do agree. I see a lot of Jaylen Brown in him as well. But not gonna lie, I was going through articles and I forgot which one, but I was really bothered by it. Comp was Aaron Gordon.
Try not to let that get to you, bro. Try not to. But
It was like the description was like spot on. It was like another lengthy defender that just doesn't have the jump shot yet. I don't want to do that again.
um so right now the Magic have the fifth pick, the eighth pick, and I'm pretty sure the 33rd pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't even.
What is the most likely situation you see goes down on draft night? Do they stay where they're at? Do they trade up? Do they trade for a star that we don't see coming? What do you see is the most likely outcome?
Well, we know the second round pick is not. We're giving that somewhere to someone. We're selling it off for cash. But when it
Mhm.
comes to the two first rounders, I just don't see a way where we stand pat. I think I think it's known throughout the organization that you can't. It wouldn't be the smartest idea to bring in two rookies. And Weltman already said it after the lottery that this team needs veterans in the locker room. You have to, in order to build the right culture, you have to have veterans in the locker room in order to build the right way, win, and not have, because you can't just throw out. You don't want to repeat as much as more talented and continuity and camaraderie this group of guys have compared to the Rob Hennigan era. That's what the Hennigan era faced. There was no leadership veterans on that roster, and we saw what happened with that. We can't have that happen again, and I think it's not. But if you're gonna follow that route, you can't bring in two rookies.
No, that's true. Like we just don't have the room to bring in two rookies.
And that's the thing when we got the head start. Looking ahead, it was we got the Chicago pick to have ammunition in case something goes wrong,
Mhm.
to cover up and be able to move ahead, trade up, or if we got lucky and got number one, and then we got Chicago's pick, if we choose to bring in someone else that's not from the draft, whether it be like an unhappy star that we might hear about later when it gets closer to the draft, they can make that trade then. I just think, regardless who it is, the Chicago pick, in my opinion, I think it's going to be used to whether it be moved up or make another trade.
So I know we talked a little about this in your video. The link to that will be in the description below. We talked about was it worth it for the Magic to trade up if they couldn't get Cade or Jalen Green in a trade? Like, is it worth to go from 5 to 3, knowing you weren't going to get Cade or Jalen Green? Is it worth it to do it for Suggs? Do you think he's
Yeah,
there at 5? Do you take the risk?
trade up for Suggs?
Yeah,
No,
because if Cade and Jalen Green are gone, I'm assuming both of us would prefer Kuminga
over
over
Suggs.
Suggs and Mobley.
Mobley,
Oh, no.
Mobley. I think okay. This is where I've always stated this has nothing to do with Mobley. I just still believe in Mo. I think Mo getting a new head coach, a new voice is going to help him tremendously. Everyone was saying get Mo to a new situation. I think just getting a new head coach is going to do him wonders. I'm not ready to give up on him. And if it doesn't work out, you have Wendell Carter, you have another studded center coming next draft. So at that point, I think you just try to make a package deal for a really good player that might be available on the market.
So you're saying you wouldn't trade up for number 3, regardless of who the pick was. You'd stay pat at 5.
Unless Mobley's your guy, because if Mobley's Weltman's guy, then draft him. But if he's not, trade 5 and 8, and maybe the Denver or the 2023 Chicago pick, and try to trade for that guy who's not necessarily a veteran, but someone who already has like 2, 3, 4 years in the league. It can help already our young group take the next step.
Yeah, I like that point. So getting into the head coaching aspect, I think we're coming to about a month since Steve Clifford and the Magic parted ways. So far, we've heard Becky Hammon's name. We've heard Sam Cassell's name. We've heard Kenny Atkinson's name. David Vanterpool. We're starting to see now the Magic really go for some no-name head coaches for the interviews. Do you think they should have made a decision by now? What do you think's holding them back?
I just think other teams, I guess, have been, I guess I thought too highly of the Magic job, because congratulations to Portland. They got Chauncey Billups.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted Chauncey, but congrats to Portland. Ricardo went to Indiana. Kidd went to Dallas. So I guess those jobs were just like high priority, but the Magic have to get the coach sooner rather than later. You have to get it done. I know they're going to do their due diligence and interview everyone to find the right guy who they believe in, but you have to do it sooner rather than later, so you can start communicating with their players that are already on the roster, and the coach has to be part of the draft plan in order for this to work. So you have to get my hope is still Becky Hammon. I would love to see her be the head coach for the Magic. The way she coaches and the philosophy she believes in, it almost seems like she took what Pop did and just like made it, twisted into her own version, instead of a head coach just copying what the other coach used to do.
So besides Becky Hammon, who are some of your other coaching candidates?
Again, probably the same as other Magic fans. Atkinson's, I'm high on him. David Vanderbilt. Daryl Armstrong, to be honest, doesn't. I think he always played the game with passion, so I think that would probably like Sam Cassell. Those guys are really who I'm looking at right now.
Nice. With the Magic's gonna have a busy offseason. The draft, hiring a new coach. I don't know if people realize this, but there is a summer league happening this year. I am truly excited. We're gonna see Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, Chumo Kiki, whoever our lottery pick is. I'm hella excited for the summer league. Like,
Our summer league's gonna be stacked.
it's gonna be amazing. Imagine if we win the championship. Like that shouldn't be the goal, because if people need rest, then let them rest. But if we win the summer league championship, that's gonna be like a huge step for people's development, especially like our young players. Like,
I don't, to be honest, I don't really necessarily care, because when Orlando had 2 summer league teams, our blue had like our roster players. The Magic blue had our roster players, and the Magic white had more of like the G League. And the Orlando blue lost early and ended up being the Orlando white that ended up winning the Orlando Summer League. So it don't really like matter. But honestly, what I would prefer to get out of Summer League would be whoever our head coaches also coach the Summer League. So it would have like a head start with Cole, you said Chuma, and those guys.
No, yeah, like summer league is gonna be definitely fun to watch. We definitely gotta tune in for that. So with that, it's gonna end. It's gonna wrap for tonight's episode. Omar, where can people find you for your podcast?
It's just on YouTube, Big O NBA _ or space Omar. You could also find me on Twitter and see my articles I write for Orlando Magic Daily. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on for today's episode. That's gonna bring it for tonight's episode. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace out.
Peace.